Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Cafe. Before Cafe. This is Friday. It is Friday. Happy Friday. We made it almost to the weekend. So it's time for us to tell you the news you need to know before the weekend so you don't gotta worry about it.
Hi.
This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter podcast where we look up our stories right before we started. We just got caffeine in our body. We're learning to read and speak live on stream. So let's roll that segue wheel. But first, get into the headlines. Today on Friday News Dump. Stress from rapidly warming climate is visible in the polar bear's DNA, a study shows.
And happy Friday, where we have the Spotlight for the week. Fired Michigan coach Chiron Moore remains in jail. We'll find out why. And 44-year-old Philip Rivers is returning to the NFL.
A story from last week that went under the radar. Over 1 million descendants of Spaniards have applied for citizenship in its overwhelming consulates. Some of them are even exiles from the Francesco administration. Dictatorship, I should say.
And he's still dead, by the way. Don't update that story. We gotta keep updating it. Oh, and economic news for this News Dump Friday. We have Costco suing Stinky the Cloud administration for their tariff nonsense. Plus, 2025 is the year that big tech took a big dump.
In my culture news, quick update on Eurovision. The Swiss winner is returning their trophy to protest Israel's inclusion, and the Rolling Stones, the band, is giving a blessing to Fatboy Slim's Satisfaction sample after 25 years. Hey, you're allowed to use that now.
I always associate Fatboy Slim with Christopher Walken. That video they made, that best video maybe ever, right? Anyway, and it's National Gingerbread House Day. So if you got some ginger and you got some bread and you're in a house, it's your day. You don't even have to combine those three. You just have to exist in reality. It's December 12th, 2025 on Before Coffee. My brain, except for limericks.
It's actually kind of crazy that it's Gingerbread House Day because my earrings are gingerbread men, and I did not plan that.
Nice.
So,
all right.
I just got them. They came free with all the makeup I bought at one of the stores. They were like, "Hey, you gave us so much money, you get free earrings." So I took these earrings,
Nice.
and I'm wearing them until the end of the year because they're new.
Well,
My shiny gingerbread.
don't wear them. Don't get an infection or anything.
No, of course not. I put my ears in alcohol, which is actually bad for them, but you know.
You say you're going to wear them continuously for the year. That seems a little bit septic to me. All right, a little bit septic.
Well, speaking of septic, this is not a good segue. Let's roll the segue wheel. I've become the wheel.
You're the wheel. The wheel is me. We are one.
We are the wheel. Sarcasm. I'm going to need you to be sarcastic about polar bears.
Check and check.
This is a story coming out of probably the Arctic, because that's where polar bears live, which has been studying polar bears, and they found that their DNA is changing right before our eyes. Actual evolution happening because of climate change. This is from Stuti Mishra on The Independent. Polar bears are in one of the fastest warming parts of the Arctic and are showing clear change in how their DNA behaves, according to a new study. Researchers examined genetic activity in polar bears from northeastern and southeastern Greenland, two regions that now experience starkly different temperature patterns to historic norm. Reminder, Greenland isn't actually green. It's an ice block. Iceland is actually green, and it's a volcano. The team found that bears living in the warmer, more fragmented sea ice environment of southeastern Greenland had markedly higher activity in their jumping genes. I didn't even know there were genes for jumping, but now we know. Small mobile elements in the genome that can alter how our genes switch on and off. So it's going to turn off the swimming, or it's going to turn on the swimming gene and turn off the walking gene. These changes were concentrated in genes related to heat stress, metabolism, and aging, and were consistently associated with the region's temperature pattern. So if it was warmer, there would be an obvious change in heat stress and metabolic and aging. The study is the first to find a statistically significant link between rising temperatures and altered DNA activity in a wild animal. Lead researcher of the study, Dr. Alice Gooden from University of East Anglia, UEA, said the findings show a measurable link between rising temperatures and changes in polar bear gene activity. By comparing these bears' active genes to local climate data, we found that rising temperatures appears to be driving a dramatic increase in activity of jumping genes within the southeastern Greenland bear's DNA. Essentially, this means that the different groups of bears are having different sections of their DNA changed at different rates, and this activity seems linked to the specific environment and climate. Maybe what we're seeing now is actually the separation of a species, right? Because like with birds are the easiest ones, right? But you'll have different birds depending on where they are. So they'll both be sparrows, but one sparrow will be fatter because it doesn't need to fly around as much, and the other sparrow will be skinnier. This has mostly kind of been I don't want to say debunked, but it's not perfectly true of what evolution actually is, because we've actually done more studies on evolution since, well, when was that? The 1600s, 1700s, when we made the first theory of evolution. Yeah. But that's what I think they're trying to go with here. It's like these southeastern bears are going to be totally different from the more north bears. They're going to have different alterations to their genome. Southeastern Greenland has become one of the warmest and least predictable habitats in a polar bear's range. Sea ice cover is low and unstable, temperatures fluctuate more than in the northeast, and bears are increasingly isolated by retreating ice. Researchers describe this population as living in future Arctic conditions, with similarities to what most polar bears' habitats are projected to experience by mid-century. So by 2050. This year is expected to be the world's second or third warmest on record, while 23 and 24 smash global temperature benchmarks. The Copernicus Climate Change Service has said the world is now in its first 3-year period where average global temperatures exceeded the 1.5 above pre-industrial levels. The Arctic is warming almost 4 times faster than the global average. So while here it doesn't seem like it's getting very warm, the Arctic is melting under these polar bears' feet. More than 2/3 of
Greenland
polar bears
will
are
be
expected to vanish by 2050, with full extinction possible by the end of the century if global emissions continue on their current trajectory. Except for the ones in zoos, right? The UEA team analyzed RNA, the molecules showing which genes are active, from blood samples collected for an earlier study that identified the southeastern population as genetically distinct from the northern groups after becoming isolated around 200 years ago. Oh, so they're already a different, I wouldn't say they're a different species, but they're definitely going up a different branch already. 200 years ago, or for 200 years, they've already been going separate directions from the northern and southeastern groups. But now they're actually seeing not a collaboration, causation through climate change. Dr. Gooden said that these differences do not indicate that polar bears are safe or successfully adapting, but that the southeastern population may be undergoing unusually rapid genetic response to environmental stress. This finding is important because it shows for the first time that a unique group of polar bears in the warmest part of Greenland are using jumping genes to rapidly rewrite their DNA, which might be a desperate survival mechanism against melting sea ice. As a result of the species facing extinction, these specific bears provide a genetic blueprint for how polar bears might be able to adapt quickly to climate change. However, we cannot be complacent. Yeah, yet again, right, Tuvalu is going underwater. We talked about this yesterday in yesterday's show. So, oh, well, the bears are going to be fine. Well, what about the human beings slowly sinking to the ocean? The authors stress that the genetic shifts do not guarantee long-term survival. Even if some population exhibit rapid responses, polar bears remain constrained by the physical limits of a warming Arctic. They rely on ice to hunt seals because seals love to come up and rest on the ice. If they can't, polar bears cannot beat a seal underwater, okay? The seal's too fast. They need the seals to come on land, and the only land in the Arctic is ice. So if there's no land in the Arctic, these polar bears will starve to death. In many regions, the ice-free season is lengthening beyond the time bears can safely fast. So they actually are starving to death. The researchers say broader sampling is now essential, as roughly 20 polar bear subpopulations may be experiencing climate pressure differently. Dr. Gooden said the next step is to examine whether similar changes are occurring elsewhere. I also hope this work will highlight the urgent need to analyze the genomes of this precious and enigmatic species before it's too late. Maybe we can clone them later after we've killed all the animals on the planet.
I have a solution. Anyway. At least a short-term solution.
What is it?
My sarcasm. For my sarcasm, I have two sarcasms because I had time. My first solution is: did you know there's 3,000 billionaires in the world, and there's about roughly 3,000 polar bears in Greenland?
Ooh.
Maybe we could work something out for them starving polar bears. Yeah, don't even have to cook them. You don't have to cook them. They like them fresh, right? It's like, oh.
By the way,
no, that was
a
tasty.
tangent on that. Polar bears are the only animals known to hunt humans. So, just saying.
Oh yeah, and we don't blame them. By the way, I sent you a video totally related to this. Totally related to this, so you're going to enjoy this video, I'm sure. If it doesn't scare the shit out of you, you'll enjoy it. The other sarcasm is, yes, bears are capable of evolution. The only bears who don't evolve are the Chicago Bears, because they still suck. Am I right, Packer fans? Yeah, woo! That's my sports segue into sports. There you go.
Great. They still suck.
Of
course, they're grizzly bears, I think, not polar bears. That was their first mistake. They didn't base it off the polar bear.
Of course, the Packers just beat the Bears, and they're going to play them again in 8 days. So, one game in Green Bay, one game in Chicago. All right.
Let's roll our next segue for your story, because I only got that one long story there.
Right. Yeah, well, I had to segue to sports because we're doing the Spotlight for the week. We haven't done sports in quite a while.
Josh thought that was really funny. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was. Thank you. We got applause, my applause.
I will be giving you a limerick on this story. On your sports story.
2 stories. So we'll get the long one first to give you time to warm up. The first one is about football. The second one's about football. So you might get a preview on that one. American football, not the kind where you kick the ball all over the place and nobody ever scores. But and there's soccer right later in the day. Toll free's calling me. That's always scary. Congratulations, you're qualified for this and that. Every one of them's the same. Anyway, ignoring my junk phone calls, this is from sportsyahoo.com. Fired Michigan coach Chiron Moore was suicidal after cops were called to his executive assistant's apartment. His executive assistant was, of course, old boy was having a little bit of an inappropriate relationship with her. Chiron Moore, the lauded head coach of the University of Michigan's storied football program, threw away a $30 million career when his affair with his assistant came to light, a scandal that was capped by his stunning arrest over allegations of assault. The 39-year-old married dad of 3, promising career quickly came to a crashing end Wednesday. He was booted as Michigan's, which is one of the most corrupt, by the way, one of the most corrupt college football programs in the country. They got a big, gigantic cheating scandal. I don't know why they're even allowed to have a football program anymore, quite frankly. Anyway, he was booted as Michigan's head coach that afternoon, and within the same hour, he was busted on criminal charges for allegedly breaking into the home of his executive assistant, Paige Shriver, who apparently is also pregnant, with a knife in hand. So this almost turned into an OJ.
So he makes bad decisions. Yeah. By the way, it takes 2.
Yeah, again, but she wasn't expecting him to go all OJ on her, right?
I'm just saying, like, what did he expect to happen when you have sex with somebody? You might get him pregnant. So maybe don't have sex with people.
Right.
This is an idea.
Right. Again, dude, if you're the football coach, stop looking at girls, okay? First of all, you got 3 kids at home. I hope they're not women. Hope they're not any females in your family that can look at dad and go, wow, he really doesn't like me. He thinks women are just objects, you know? Dude, you gotta stop thinking that you're somebody, okay? You're just a football coach, right? Your job can go bye-bye anytime you want. All that power you have, it takes one idiot to say, hey, I don't like this guy, and he's gone. Why do these football coaches think they're God? They're not. You're a football coach. The only people look up to you is half of the team, maybe, right? The other half hates you, secretly like to see you tortured to death because you put them through a lot of crap, right? These football coaches are way out of hand. They make too much money. And once again, if you can name me one employee in a Michigan state government makes $30 million, let me know, because this is the highest paid person in their entire state government. One guy makes $30 million. Right? I mean, the life of his contract, but he's an unproven coach in every way. He's never, he's just, okay, $30 million. Are you people serious? Unproven coach gets $30 million. This world we live in, it's amazing. Anyway, Moore, the first black coach in Michigan history, which doesn't really matter in this case, is now cooling his heels in Washtenaw County Jail on suspicion of assault charges. This is more of a Michigan thing than anything else. Michigan is a lawless university, and they've proven it time and time again.
Oh, really? What did they do before? Short version.
They won the national championship a couple of years ago, but they were cheating. They had a guy sitting on the sideline. You can scout the other team, right? You can scout the other team you're going to play next week. They were sending a graduate assistant, which is somebody who's graduated college, right? But they're still enrolled in a master's degree program, and they work at the college, right? They get paid. And their graduate assistant was sitting there on the sideline of their next week's opponent, filming the game surreptitiously. They got caught doing it.
Wow.
So meanwhile, their head coach, Jim Harbaugh, took his trophies and went in and cashed in and got himself a job in the NFL, and he's currently coaching the Chargers in the NFL, so no penalty for him whatsoever. But, we're going to see some penalties for the next coach at Michigan because he's still in jail. The shocking news came just days after Moore had spoken with reporters as the number 18 ranked Wolverines begin to prepare for the Citrus Bowl later this month. It caught the college football world by surprise. The stunning developments on Thursday included Moore was reported to be suicidal, had a knife after he went to Shiver's apartment following his firing. He remained in jail Thursday with the first court appearance scheduled today. Shiver, 32. At least she's not ridiculously young, right? It's only a 7-year difference. I was expecting she's probably just a cheerleader, that just got a job and, is out to get some, whatever.
Which is it's specifically the assistant, which is even, the whole thing's already bad. But then your underling, Shiver, right? You're dating your underling because she's probably scared of losing her damn job.
Again, she was milking this too. She got $90,000 a year job, a 55% raise. Oh, she was given a 55% raise. It pays to be on the bus, right? That's a lot of money, considering you're not doing a whole hell of a lot except showing up to work. $90,000.
Well, and
seriously,
getting
put all of
assaulted
these
by
people,
your boss.
Everybody's starving to death, and we're giving $90,000. A state, by the way, is giving $90,000 to a woman to have sex with a coach. University previously investigated claims of his inappropriate relationship with a staffer, but he denied it, according to reports. Again, what this thing I've seen lots of reports. This was rumored for months, and everybody was just looking the other way.
And he just had to take a knife to her apartment. He could probably gone away with it if he never took a knife to his apartment.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the university should have let get this far, right?
Yeah.
It was rumored. I didn't know nothing about this because I don't pay attention to it. But it was rumored on campus for months, right? People knew, and nobody did shit. So they're at fault too. Why are you letting this happen? Why is your institution letting this shit happen? You pay a guy you have no supervision over. Stop. They should take away their football program for 10 years. That's what they did to SMU. SMU had the death penalty. Bye. You can't play by the rules, and the rules are already lax as it is, and you can't even play by them. Screw really Michigan, screw the Wolverines. They should take away every championship they've ever won. And I do like Michigan players. It ain't the players' fault. They just go to college where they can get a scholarship. All right, Michigan Football Insiders report that Moore had been acting strange, berating assistant coaches, according to ESPN. This is more evidence of him just losing his shit. He was fired when a staffer came forward with evidence of the affair after he axed her, according to the claims. Well, there you go. Don't fire somebody when you got all these skeletons, dude. Female caller reported to a 911 dispatcher Moore was armed with a knife and had been stalking her for months, according to the police audio obtained by the Post. Male at the location is attacking her, and he's been stalking her for months. A male voice can be heard saying on the audio. Here's a picture of what's this picture? Moore. Oh, it's a picture of him and his wife. They've been married for 10 years. So he has a wife, 3 kids, and she looks quite, well, I don't know. I can't judge age anymore. I don't know how old the picture is, so I won't go with anything there. The audio also has indicated Moore had threatened to harm himself during the alleged exchange, after which he fled on foot and was arrested at a nearby church. He wouldn't hit at a church. Dude, you're a football coach. You're not Romeo. You're not Casanova. You're a football coach, right? Stop pretending this is part of your life. You're supposed to be coaching games to beat Ohio State and shit. And I just blame Michigan for looking the other way. My thing is here, they could have prevented all this shit. It's going to be at the Well Church 211 Willis Road, suicidal, driving a black Chevy Tahoe, blacked out. The Washtenaw County police dispatcher can be heard saying a short time later. Here's the late. Well, let's wrap this up and say this guy has totally screwed up his life. He had the world by the balls just a few months ago, but he had to have it. You know, oh, there's a girl interested in me. She really likes me. Not really, dude. Not really. She's after that cachet, you know. And she really isn't that much younger. So it's like, dude, what do you got? Do these guys don't even know about prostitutes? Do they even know about them? There's like, I'm sure they have them in Michigan. I've been there. I know they have.
The thing is, I don't want to make any assumptions because I'm making the opposite assumption, which is that, you know, he's a guy.
It's a power dynamic, though. Yeah, it's a power dynamic.
It's a power dynamic, and for me, he's guilty from just that. Right? You know, you are the boss. You know, you can fire her, and then she has to go find a new job. So she's gonna agree with anything you say. If she's
and her career's ruined, by the way, too. Her career's ruined too because she's been, who wants somebody that's just going to leech onto your coach, right? You can't work in athletics again. Oh, she's just going to have to coach. That's all she's going to do. $90,000 for somebody, a graduate, basically an assistant to the assistant. She's just there, and then probably she said, "You're getting weird, and I'm going to cut it off." And well,
and then he lost it. Yeah.
He lost his
mind.
I'm
the big powerful boss guy. You have to listen to what I say. It's like, I don't have to anymore. Goodbye.
What they say, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this guy didn't get absolute power, but he got enough to corrupt himself, and it went to his head, and he thought he was untouchable. I don't know what gets inside these people, but they're insane. So there's your story. I got one more sports story. If you got a limerick.
I do have a limerick. In a town where the gridiron gleamed, a coach with success only dreamed, but with passion misplaced, his bright future laid waste. Now his family and career have both streamed down the river. Bye!
No.
I really do hope. I mean, probably going to go to jail, so it'll be easy for his wife to be like, bye, I'm out of here.
Yes. Showing up at somebody's house with a knife and threatening murder, suicide, law enforcement kind of.
Don't really want that to be around my children, even if it is their dad.
Yeah. And he's still in jail, which tells you either he's on suicide watch, probably on suicide watch. Hopefully not the Epstein suicide watch. You know what that ended up.
We know how reliable that is.
Oh, and falsifying records as he hangs himself and breaks a bunch of bones in his neck that are not consistent with hanging yourself. But whatever, let's pretend Epstein committed suicide. Anyway, let's do another story as we do another limerick. Let's get my screen back so I'm not on the soundboard. This one is also football related, and it's about somebody that's even older than the coach at Michigan, well, ex-coach now. He's 44, and he retired 5 years ago, but now he's the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. This is from stampedblue.com. I believe this is a Colts website. Indianapolis Colts football, American football team. Of course, Philip Rivers returning to the Colts is a thing of movies. Of course, Philip Rivers was drafted in 2004. That is 21 years ago. So he's been around for a while. I mean, he was in the same draft with Eli Manning and all them guys.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Eli Manning, Bryn Roethlisberger, a bunch of guys have been retired for a while. Get your popcorn ready because things are about to get good or go terribly wrong. Either way, the scene the Indianapolis Colts are setting due to their reunion with Philip Rivers, who spent most of his career with the Chargers. He only spent, I think that was last season with the Colts. It will be the thing of movies. How could it not be? The man is 44 years old and has been away from the NFL for 5 years. Yes, he has done some high school coaching, but come on, Rivers has been out of the game so long, almost half the league is comprised of new faces. The Colts are banking on him being their Hail Mary by choosing an unorthodox path. The last time they did something unique, it blew up in their faces. Whether it works out or not, it certainly won't disappoint it. Remember, now this is a very tragic thing, and if you're a Colts fan, I hope you've buried this in your subconscious, because this happened a few years ago, and it still blows my mind. Remember when Jim Irsay, the late Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, decided Jeff Saturday was the best man to lead the team as interim head coach? Saturday won his first game, and that's where the movie should have ended. Rudy gets hoisted on the shoulders of his teammates and carried off the field. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case as the rest of the season turned into nightmares. The Colts went winless and were a part of the biggest collapse in NFL history against the Vikings. Not all movies are success stories. Some are horror films, and exactly what that season turned into. Oh, yeah. Hiring a guy with no coaching experience.
Really?
Once again, Jeff Saturday was not a coach. He was a TV personality who used to play for the Colts, and the owner liked him. He liked his face or his beard or something. He was the center, and he was Peyton Manning's center, which means he didn't have to block. And the short version of that is Peyton Manning got rid of the ball almost as soon as he got it. That's why he never got hit. Peyton Manning just didn't want to get hit, so he'd get rid of the ball. Incomplete, not complete, 2-yard gain, 3-yard loss, he got rid of the ball, right? So being a center for him is easy. The ball's gone. Anyway, he got all these all-pros for being an average center. And get to be coach of the Colts from being a nice guy. Anyway, not all movies are success stories. Some are horror films, and that's exactly what seasoned into it. The Talking Heads called it a circus as things completely bottomed out. It was entertaining, not in the I like this kind of way, but in a not being able to look away from a train wreck sort of way. Rivers returning to the Colts has that written all over it. All signs are pointing to him starting on Sunday against the Seahawks in what would have been an incredibly tough game even when the Colts were at their peak. Don't try to sneak into another movie, though, even if the first game doesn't go down as a win. The main character usually faces adversity early on, so the triumph is that much sweeter. Rivers could still string together three at the end to make this a true superhero moment. We could also witness a Brett Favre moment in which the last image of him flat on his back being helped off the field, a man in his 40s trying to play a young man's game. Seattle's defense will be coming at him in droves. It might Might all prove too much. If that's the case, the Colts will be in the laughingstock of the league for attempting to pull off an incredibly foolish move. It'll be a dramedy with the Colts in crisis mode while the rest of the league points and laughs. No one knows how this will all turn out, but it will make fans tune in for sure. If Philip Rivers gets the start this week, what would have had most fans using the time for Christmas shopping will now have them turning in to see how this all goes. The intrigue will be there at least one more week. Will fans see the hero that comes in at the 11th hour to save the day, or watch on as a dream season dies in front of their eyes with a whimper? This is the stuff movies are made of. The improbable. Rivers will work to keep the movie running as long as possible, but the credits are waiting in the wings. Ready to roll. We need a limerick about the old man trying to come back and rescue a career that ended 5 years ago. And I say old man pejoratively because he's 20 years younger than me. Anyway.
He's older than me, though, and I would never dream of going on a field at 40. This is my limerick in Indy. A player returns. At 44, it's the world that he spurns. With the Colts in a mess, fans brace for distress as the sparks from the old legend burn.
Oh, that's really
I wouldn't
good.
say he's a legend, but, it's
he is a
poetry.
legend. A legend.
Legendary
He is a legend. I mean, he didn't have the greatest playoff record, but he was always taking the Chargers to the playoffs. Philip Rivers was drafted. The history of Philip Rivers and Eli Manning. The Chargers had the first pick. Eli Manning was the obvious first pick. He said his dad, who was an NFL player, said, I'm not going to play for the Chargers.
He's a Nepo baby.
He's a Nepo baby, and his daddy said, my son's not playing for the San Diego Chargers. They suck. So the Chargers drafted him anyway and ended up trading him to the Colts. Not the Colts, to the Giants during the draft. So they traded Eli Manning to the Giants. The Giants, as a favor to the Chargers, drafted Philip Rivers. So Philip Rivers was drafted by the Giants, traded, and they got a couple draft picks or whatever. But I think the Chargers did the right thing. They drafted a guy, and he played out well. Anyway, there's your story. Let's have
on the
spin
history
for me.
of 2004 NFL right there.
Yeah, the 2004 NFL draft drama where everybody just decided they hated Eli Manning because of his dad forcing a trade like that. It's like, Jesus. Grow up,
it must
kid.
be. I know it's like not their fault. They didn't ask to be born, but they also choose to follow the same career, that they know people will know them from. So it's just like, and maybe it wouldn't even force on him, right? You could definitely argue that Eli Manning was forced to become an NFL player. He was forced to get involved in this trade because his dad, like you said, his dad could have forced it in, right?
His brother played for the Colts.
Yeah.
By the way, his brother played Peyton Manning played on those Colts. Anyway, the Eli Manning thing is he didn't want to play in San Diego, New Jersey. That makes no sense to me. I definitely want to play in San Diego. Give me a choice. San Diego, New Jersey, I'll take San Diego every time. So you got to wonder about the logic there. And I think he didn't like the owners.
Probably.
Whatever it was. He didn't like the owner. Probably didn't like the owner. Whatever. His dad, of course, named Archie Manning, who, like I said, I really had never liked Archie Manning since then. All right, let's have a spin so I can do something.
Let's spin the wheel for my next story, which is about... What was it about?
About 5 minutes.
Alliteration headline.
Ooh!
We're talking about Spaniards. Descendants of Spaniards applying for citizenship in Spain, and there's been so many that they have so many people. There's so many appointments. 1.3 million people waiting for an appointment. The avalanche of applications. This is on El País by Miguel Gonzalez. The avalanche of applications in the final months before a deadline expired could delay the process for years. Most applicants come from Argentina, followed by Cuba and Mexico. Let's scroll down. More than 1 million descendants of Spanish exiles. So that's from the Franco administration or the Franco dictatorship. They ran away when he died. Or immigrants have already applied for citizenship under the Democratic Memory Law through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Consular Network, while another 1.3, so that's 2.3 million, have requested appointments to submit their documentation but have not been able to do so due to bureaucratic delays. Of the 1 million applications initiated, approximately half have already been processed and citizenship granted, so around 500,000, although many are still waiting formal registration, while rejections account for less than 2% of the total. 2% of 1 million is what? Like 10,000 or something? No, even smaller than that.
What's the formula?
2%.
2% of what?
Of 1 million.
2% of 1 million is 20,000.
Yeah, okay, so I said 10,000. 20,000. Yeah, because it's a 2. It's a 2. Yeah, so 20,000 people have been rejected, but overall 500,000 have been accepted. These are the figures handled by General Council of Spanish Citizenship Abroad, CGCEE, an advisory body to the government representing the more than 3 million Spaniards residing abroad. Its president, Violeta Alonso Peleles, speaking to El País, urged the government to provide necessary resources to prevent this avalanche of applications from overwhelming the consular network, comprised of only 178 offices, including 86 consulates for general and 2 consulates. I don't know what a consulate general is, but there's 86 of them. The total number of those seeking to benefit from the new law, 2.3 million, is 4.5 times higher than the figure reached under its predecessor, the 2007 Historical Memory Law. Well, remember, Argentina might be getting in a war with the U.S. soon, so I don't blame everyone for trying to get
Argentina.
away.
No, you're thinking of Venezuela. Argentina.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Argentina's
apologize.
Argentina's getting $400,000 to keep their fascists in charge.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Well, that's probably why they're leaving, right? They're just under a different
and
fascist over there.
Beef. We're buying their beef too. That's another fucking great little.
Either way, 4.5 times the higher than the 2007 Historical Memory Law, which was only 503,000 people applying. Sources familiar with the process estimate that at the current rate, some descendants of Spaniards will have to wait decades to see their citizenship granted, and the oldest among them could die without ever seeing it happen. The 8th additional provision of Democratic Memory Law granted a 2-year pyramid extendable to 3 for all those born outside of Spain to a father or mother, grandfather or grandmother who are originally Spanish, and who, as consequence of having suffered exile for political, ideological, or religious reasons, or due to their sexual orientation and gender identity, had lost or renounced their Spanish nationality to apply for citizenship. This also includes those born abroad to Spanish mothers who lost their nationality by marrying foreigners before the Spanish consulate came into effect. So, if there, and the adult children of those whose original nationality was recognized under 2007 law, thus filling the gaps left by the earlier legislation. The final deadline after the corresponding extension ended on the 21st of October, which triggered a flood of applications in recent months that has exceeded all expectations and also the capacity of the Spanish consular network to process them. This has led to more flexible interpretations of the law, so that the applicants of those who requested an appointment online to submit their documentation before the deadline, but who have been unable to do so until now due to a lack of available slots at any of the consulates, have been accepted. We're just gonna laxly accept people just so we can get them in to look at their documents. More than 40% of the applications, around 1 million, came from Argentina. After that, the consulate with the next highest number was Havana in Cuba with 350,000, Mexico City with 165,000, Sao Paulo in Brazil with 150,000, Miami in the US with 120,000, and Caracas in Venezuela, so there were some people from Venezuela, with 40,000. This data comes from the CGCEE, as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not respond to El País' request for comment. Violeta Alonso underscored the need to expedite procedure and prevent these processes from dragging on for years. Among other things, the organization she heads has proposed that more than 7,000 civil registries in Spain collaborate in registering new Spanish citizens, that additional staff be hired, or more routine tasks such as document digitization and data entry be outsourced. I'll do it. I love typing things in Excel documents. Let me at them. I'll do it.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna go look this up. How can I work to help immigrants, or I should say, people return to Spain, I guess? I don't know. Re-immigration. How can I, re-immigration, please? I would like to help. Alonso laments that the enormous amount of work generated by the way, as somebody who hates Spanish colonization, I'm so happy to hear all these Spanish people going back to where they came from.
Yeah, they're not going back. They're just blind to go back, right?
Alonso
too many
laments that the enormous amount of work generated by the implementation of the democratic memory law has led to delays in the provision of other services such as registration of children of Spanish citizens born abroad. The president of CGCEE warns that a redeployment of the consular network is necessary since new Spanish citizens, once they've obtained citizenship, will require other services from consulates, like getting a security number, like a social security number probably, passport, birth, marriage and death certificates, and so on. It's not just a matter of increasing stuff, although that's also important, but in many cases more physical space is needed, she emphasizes. Oh, they don't have any, they need more filing cabinets. Somebody build these guys filing cabinets. It is estimated that the number of Spaniards residing abroad will increase over 3 million to almost 5 million. A report by Association of Spaniards Diplomats, ADE, the largest association within the diplomatic corps, noted last year that the latest official study found that 28 facilities operating at full capacity, 68 with accessibility issues at their front doors, 14 lacking fire protection systems, and at least 17 are in poor condition. Many consular offices are failing to comply with Spanish occupational health and safety regulation, the report warned. So not only are they overburdened, but they're also under infrastructured, and you're going to be sitting in a waiting room with the ceiling leaking water on your head, I think. Sounds like. Yeah. Lights blinking.
a rat gnawing at your toes.
I guess raise the taxes on the rich, Spain, if you have any. I don't know.
Yeah, but they all died. Okay.
You should have been able to write 15 alliteration headlines from that.
Okay, the headline for this should have read, Incredible Iberian Immigrant Increases Invites Inevitable Ignoble Idiots. You know, people are, I can be a citizen, I'm a third generation in Argentina, I should be fine. No, probably not. It's like me trying to become a Canadian citizen because my great-grandfather was born in Canada, right?
Maybe you can.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I should
a
try,
lot of
right?
laws, at least in the UK, a lot of laws are as old as like 1800s or 1860s or something. If you had a grandparent that was born in the UK in the 1860s, you can apply for citizenship.
Yep. It's a non sequitur, but my great-great-grandfather, you know, my great-grandfather didn't have a choice, right? His parents moved to the United States, right?
Yeah.
But they did move from Ontario, Canada, to a place in Wisconsin with the same exact latitude, which is fascinating. They probably looked at it on a map and said, hey, it's going to have the same temperature.
Just walk that direction. Just drive that direction.
Yeah, they went directly west of where they were in Ontario. I mean, they went to the Great Lakes, right? They would have had to take a boat of some sort. But that's where they migrated to. His brother William emigrated from Canada to North Dakota, right? The same latitude in North Dakota. That's a hell of a coincidence, right?
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Throwing that out there. And that latitude is 90, by the way. 90.
A nice 90.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, 45.
45. I was going to say 95, but I didn't want to.
90 is North Pole. No, the latitude is 45. So they went from latitude 45 to latitude 45. Around the same. Around the same line.
And I'm around, I think, 40. Or
yeah,
42
you're up there.
Myself.
You might be in the 50s. I know Scotland were in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not that high. I'm not as high as Scotland. I'm still quite near France.
You're farther north than here, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Let's roll the segue, but somehow the same weather, which is pretty crazy.
Not a lot of people know this about geography. Here's one of the song. All right, that sounds good. A lot of people don't know about this, but you can look it up. Reno, Nevada, which is way theoretically east of California, right? It's like on the border, close to the border of California, right? It is farther west than Los Angeles. A lot of people don't know that. Los Angeles, if you draw a line south from Reno, Nevada, Los Angeles is on that side of it. Not a lot of people don't know that.
Also, you were right. I looked it up. I'm 52 degrees latitude, so I am higher than 40.
Yeah, I know you're in the 50s somewhere. I was looking this stuff up. I was like, what's the time going to be? Anyway, let's see. This day in history. No, we're not doing that yet. We're doing the economic news. We're going to talk about Costco. Costco suing the Trump administration for sweeping emergency tariff powers, which he never had. And there was no emergency. So creating emergency does not make an emergency. I can't believe everybody's starving to death. Yeah, you cut off all their fucking food stamps, you piece of shit. The Guardian.com, Costco sues Trump administration. This is from Lauren Aratani. Costco is suing Stinky the Cloud over his tariffs, arguing that the White House has exceeded its executive authority in instituting tariffs that should be entitled to a refund if the tariffs are found unconstitutional. In a lawsuit filed in court international trade last Friday, the retail giant argued that Diaper Donnie had misused the federal law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It's cited to impose the tariffs. There was no economic emergency. It was just shit he made up. Because he's lying to his own voters, because that's all they do. They eat up his lies and pretend they're real. The IEEPA, which is that Economic Powers Act thing I have just quoted, identified, grants the president certain power, but they may only be exercised to deal with an unusual, extraordinary threat with respect to which national emergencies be declared for purposes of the chapter and may not be exercised any other purposes, Costco said in the lawsuit. The largest warehouse club in the chain in the U.S. also pointed out the law does not use the word tariff or any term of equivalent meaning. That's true. In November, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments over Donald Trump's tariffs. Justices of the conservative majority court appeared skeptical over the White House's arguments that the IEEPA covers Trump's tariffs. The vehicle is the imposition of taxes on Americans, has always been the core power of Congress, the Chief Justice John Roberts said during arguments. He just said this is a tax, right? The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, who is a right-winger, just called this a tax, and the Constitution says that Congress is the only one that can raise taxes, and therefore, he's already losing the argument. So why hasn't the Supreme Court decided this yet? It's an open and shut case. They're just so corrupt. They're waiting for cash to come in. Oh, I could make up my mind, or I could delay it, Depends on how much cash I can get from this. Boy, I wish I lived in a free country. Customs and Border Protection, the federal agency that collects tariffs, liquidates or finalizes the total amount of tariffs an importer owes 314 days after the goods enter the country. Federal courts have warned that importers may lack legal rights to recover refunds on tariffs for goods that have been liquidated, even where the underlying legality of the tariff was later found to be unlawful. If too much time has passed since the improper paid tariff, importers like Costco may not get a refund on the tariffs, even if the Supreme Court eventually deems the duties unconstitutional. In addition to halting this liquidation, Costco is asking the Court of International Trade to declare Trump's tariffs illegal, stop the collection of duties, and order a refund for any of Trump's tariffs that Costco paid. CBP did not immediately respond to the Guardian's request for comment. Total tariff collection for the fiscal year 2025, which ended in September, soared to $195 billion compared to $118 billion last year. So $77 billion is not going to make up the big hole in the budget that we're losing because he cut a bunch of other shit. According to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, monthly customs duties went from $7 billion in January to $30 billion in September. Costco has not disclosed how much is paid in duties over the last year, but the company said that a third of its sales over the U.S. are imports to countries, with nearly half coming from China, Mexico, and Canada. And we just wanted to point out that the tariffs are collected and they're passed on to you, the consumer. Yeah, that's right. If you think those companies, those importers are not passing that on to you, I got me some swampland in Nevada for you. I got some oceanfront property in Utah for you. Because they are passing it on. It's a hidden tax, just like any other tax they do. So rich people don't have to pay. Don't forget, they blew a big hole in the budget to give another tax break to billionaires because, hey, I have no idea what the economic theory behind that is other than looting the government and making the rest of us pay for shit that we don't ever get anything from. And one of those things is tariffs, and another one of those things is these bailouts for the farmers. Let's do another Remind You of a Song. Remind You of a Song.
Money! It's a crime. Share it fairly, but don't take a slice of my pie. Money! So they say, is the root of all evil today. There you go.
That's right.
By Pink Floyd.
Money, it's a hit. Don't give me the goody good bullshit.
Yep, for sure. From the Dark Side of the Moon LP.
More economic news as our economy continues to fail and the idiots in charge pretend it isn't failing. This is from BusinessInsider.com. Yes, Business Insider is definitely a capitalist site. So let's hear what they have to say. Jacob Zinkula. 2025 is the year of the tech job market cracked under layoffs and low hiring. That's right. That's right. When Modi Khan lost his job at Microsoft last December, he was hopefully bounced back quickly, but the tech job market had other ideas. Now, a year later, he's looking. Despite a 5-year run at Microsoft as a cloud solution architect, he said even landing interviews has been a struggle. Yeah, AI took your job, shit for brains. Again, you probably got to go to McDonald's. That's where I'm going. I'm going to a freaking convenience store. That's where I'm going. Of course, I'm retired, so I can just work for part-time and for pennies and get by. And the minimum wage is 15, so I don't even have to work that many hours to get to the level where Social Security starts taking their money back. I have been constantly applying, he said, and I've had interviews, but I've been turned down everywhere. He is in his 50s and lives in Texas. In the meantime, he has exhausted his rainy day fund and fallen behind his mortgage payments. He's now worried he could lose his home. I had savings and I have depleted almost all of it. I am in a very tight spot. I hope you didn't vote for Trump. I hope you didn't vote for Trump, moron. Screwed yourself. Over the past year, I've spoken with more than 20 tech professionals for Business Insider Stories who, like Khan, were struggling to find work. Many were affected by layoffs intended to right-size overhiring during the pandemic and streamline operation. U.S. tech companies have announced roughly 150,000 layoffs through November, according to the Challenger, a 17% increase from the prior year, and most of any private sector industry. Big tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google, and Tesla each announced plans in recent years to cut at least 10,000 employees. Tesla, meanwhile, is giving the shit for brains $1 trillion package for being a low-life pile of shit. I don't understand these big companies at all. They just throw their money away like it's fucking nothing, and they expect us all to pay more. It just pisses me off. While much of the broader labor market has been marked by slow hiring, it's been cushioned by low levels of firing, but not in tech. The job market has been particularly challenging for tech professionals who are competing not only with a growing pool of laid-off workers, but also with recent college graduates and employed tech professionals looking to switch roles. At the same time, the rise of AI tools like ChatGPT, which is a criminal operation, and application bots has made it easier for candidates to submit hundreds of applications, overwhelming some employers and making it harder for top applicants to stand out in the crowd. If you're buying ChatGPT stock, sell it now. They're going to have to pay some lawsuits. The surge in demand for tech roles has coincided with the decline in the supply of available openings. After peaking in 2022, following a pandemic-era hiring spree, again, 2022, what happened? The pandemic ended and people went back to work, right? They all went, oh yeah, what are we gonna do? After peaking in 2022, following a pandemic-era hiring spree, I'm having trouble saying pandemic era. Tech job postings on Indeed are down 33% from their levels in 2020. The roles that remain are no longer for companies to fill, and amid economic uncertainty, the early effects of AI adoption, U.S. businesses are now hiring at one of the slowest rates since 2013. To succeed in 2025 tech job market, some candidates believe they need to be close to the perfect candidate. As Khan put it, it feels like recruiters are looking for Superman. They're looking for Superman that they can pay pennies to. That's what they're looking for. Because, we're going to save money on...
These days, Superman would not get paid very much for working at a newspaper, so...
As hiring slowdown drags on, some tech professionals are bracing for what might await them in today's job market. In October, Amazon announced plans to cut 14,000 corporate jobs. Define what corporate job means, please. A move CEO Andy Jassy said was intended to reshape the company's culture. I don't know what corporate jobs means, but it's just a weird thing to call a job. Aren't all jobs in a corporation a corporate job? What does that mean? Business Insider, using words that don't define themselves individually, you need to explain them. Anyway, Business Insider spoke with 6 affected employees about how they were coping with the news. Most began searching for new roles soon after they learned they'd been laid off, in part because they felt the tech job market could be very challenging. John Paul Martinez, formerly a technical support engineer at Amazon, said the prospect of competing with thousands of other laid-off tech workers from Amazon and beyond has left him anxious about the search ahead. I'm extremely fearful of the competition, said the 35-year-old living in Orlando. Might be time for a career change, dude. I would go back to school.
Probably.
Kind of funny. Get yourself another career because these aren't not coming back. Since 2022, big tech giants Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Meta, and Delta, or Meta, or whatever they're calling themselves, have collectively announced layoffs of more than 125,000 workers, according to data from the online tracker. Layoffs.fyi, that's the name of the tracker, is Layoffs FYI. The roughly 34,000 layoffs of these companies so far this year, most of them tied to cuts at Amazon and Microsoft, mark a 65% increase over last year. Yeah, these jobs aren't coming back. They don't need them. They don't need these people. The problem is whatever. We got AI to do this job for no money, and we don't care if it fucks up. It ain't our problem. That's why we got to sue these people for their bullshit. The influx of job seekers have helped fuel intense competition for roles across the economy. Last quarter, the average job opening received 242 applications, nearly triple the number of 2017, according to the Greenhouse, a hiring software provider. James Huang, Hwang, a former Amazon IT support engineer, said the hiring landscape has been just as tough as advertised. The current job market has been crazy hard, said the 27-year-old, lives in Michigan. I've already applied to over 100 jobs and haven't gotten any interviews yet. For many tech professionals, landing a big tech job is the ultimate goal, but in today's market, some have decided to broaden their horizons. After losing his contract role as an engineer program manager at Apple in September 2024, Lee Gibbons Jr. struggled to find work. Given his prior experience at big tech at Microsoft, Meta, and Apple, he initially focused on a search for smaller companies, but was unable to gain traction. You have a disappearing skill set. You need to retrain. Stop expecting corporations to take care of you. They don't care.
Also, stop expecting them to train you because they don't want to do that either. You have to do it yourself.
They will suck the life out of you and blame you for not being trained properly. That changed when he stopped limiting his search to big tech. In April, he landed a product manager role at Toyota's subsidiary. Given said his total compensation is significantly higher than it was at Apple, and he feels he's making more of an impact than he could at large tech. Yeah, don't pigeonhole yourself. We can go on and on forever. I won't mention that I keep seeing this Meta ad on the apps that I watch. They're buying commercial times on these apps to tell us, we've opened a data center. That's right, Meta has opened a data center in your city, and it's going to provide jobs. Bullshit. They ain't providing jobs. They've cut their workforce. So
just like Amazon. What did Amazon do? They import workers from somewhere else. We're opening an Amazon distribution center, and then they just imported all their workers from somewhere else, and nobody in the local area that got a job. Maybe the construction workers got a job, right? But as soon as that distribution center went up, they imported their managers, they imported their, higher CEOs. And then they,
go ahead.
in some cases, even imported the lower workers, the lower wage workers too.
Right. Again, tech firms making money is not good for the economy, by the way. It's just bullshit. It's money that's just being passed among rich people so other rich people can have money. And if you think these tech giants making money in the stock market is great news, it's not. It's going to crash. Mm-hmm. They don't employ as many people as they used to, and their data centers are a big fucking lie. They put in a data center, they provide local jobs. Oh yeah, the janitor's gonna have a job, right? The guy that turns the lights off is gonna have a job. The guy that repairs the light bulbs is gonna have a job. But the data center is gonna have 4 people working there, and they're in shifts, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 12, right? It don't take 40 people to maintain a data center. 2 people, 3 people in an 8-hour shift. You might have 24 hours a day. You're gonna have 9 people,
and they're probably all on call, so they just they're at home anyways, playing video games while they wait for something bad to happen. You know?
Yeah, right. They're not even at their shift. They're like, oh yeah, I can do this from home. Oh wait, I gotta go because the one of the fucking power supplies went out and I gotta replace it. Big fucking deal, you know. And again, they'll just call a contractor to do that. They'll just hire a contractor. Why would you pay somebody full-time benefits, medical, all that crap, unemployment insurance? Why would you pay all that when you just hire a contractor and let them pay for that crap, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the economy's getting destroyed and morons are sitting there going, I think somebody owes me a job. I got training. That's not how it works, man. You get training and you take a chance. That's the way that works.
Yeah, the sad thing about being a streamer is that a lot of people have to have another job in order to really be a streamer successfully. And a lot of the streamers that I know have recently lost their job. And they work in high positions, like, high management positions. And like, I think 5 I know have lost their job. So that's another recession marker. And with that, I've got reminded of a song, my favorite recession song.
Oh, all right.
Party Rock by LMFAO. Party Rock is in the house tonight. I lost my job, so we're gonna party all night. Everyone's gonna have a good time. Let's get drunk because we don't have a job. Yay! And then start doing a Melbourne shuffle, okay? You guys know the song, and if you don't, look it up. But
I was just gonna add the roof. The roof is on fire.
And let that motherfucker burn, as they say.
Okay.
Oh, your camera
guys, I don't care about tech companies. They're not. If Meta went under, I would lose my Facebook account, and I guess it would affect me emotionally. But I can always, if I wanted to save all that stuff, I can just print it out, right? Just print it all out and look at it in a book, actual book, Facebook book, right? Yeah, there you go. That's my plan. I'm gonna print out. Did I? Oh shit!
Yeah.
That must have been while I was waving it across. I was waving it across the screen. I must have hit it by accident. Woohoo! There you go. And I also wanted to point out another thing that I forgot to bring up earlier. Welders. Why don't you just be a welder, man? They make $50,000 to start.
Or a plumber.
I know it's not tech, but man, they'll never. Yeah, plumber.
Carpenters.
These things will never stop being. Carpenters, welders.
The art of putting things together.
Always being demand.
Yeah.
Always being demand. If you're underwater welding, man. Underwater welding pays like $150 an hour. Imagine that, right? Just a couple hours work a week and you're fine. Yeah, just ridiculous. Anyway, people doing jobs
as a forklift driver or something. Yeah.
If you're going to go into training, and this is for everybody young who's thinking about going to college or tech school or whatever, and you think, can a machine do my job within the next 5 years? And if a machine can do your job within the next 5 years, don't do that. Don't go there for that because you're not going to get a job. They're just going to be wasting your time unless you just want to waste time. That's also a cool thing, too. I've definitely taken college education
and also, to be
just
fair,
to have a college education.
In a more positive thing as well, people restart their lives multiple times. There's rarely a person out there who started a career at like 20 and has done it their whole life. Mm-hmm. It's a very rare thing. It's normal to change your job at 30, at 40, at 50, even at 60, right? You change what you do. Because even you technically changed your job a bit. You didn't do the same thing.
When I first started in radio, radios had tubes in them. They had tubes, legitimately tubes. The ones I worked on in the Marine Corps. And it's changed so much over the year. But again, I had to retrain and everything. I was constantly asking for training. I need to get some training. Here's a school I need to go to. And they would usually say yes, right? Well, we'll schedule it in 6 months. But you know what I mean? The part of the work that you miss and these people are just out for greed is they're not willing to train you. They expect you to train yourself, be completely free, and then as soon as they're done with you, they replace you with a machine. Or a contractor. Don't forget that part I brought up. They just hire a contractor.
So be a contractor, but then you also have to worry about not getting work because you're basically a freelancer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but well, contractors get paid well too, but it's just that these tech companies like Amazon, whoever, are going to hire contractors so they don't have to deal with all the extra expenses of having
you're not going to have health
and
insurance.
Have to quit. No, my contractor's employee quit does not affect me at all. If my employee quits, I gotta fucking, there's this unemployment nonsense we gotta do. We gotta tie up human resources and a bunch of shit. Contractor guy quits. I said, well, hire somebody else. It ain't my problem. So anyway, there's your long
story about the job market. Let's
do
roll
it.
A wheel
something else
and get into my segment about culture. We're gonna have an update on Eurovision, of course. Just a short update.
All right, just send you a video. You got a video, hopefully.
Yes.
So we'll get that going for you.
Mixed metaphor.
All right. Mixed metaphor on
Eurovision. So, update on the Eurovision drama. The last winner, Nemo, from Switzerland, has decided to return his winner's trophy because of Israel's inclusion. This is by Gavin Blackburn on Euronews Culture. The contest, which will turn 70 next year, strives to put pop before politics but has repeatedly been embroiled in world events. Swiss singer Nemo, who won the 24 Eurovision Song Contest, said Thursday, sorry, he wasn't the last one, he was the previous one. But he said yesterday, on the 11th of December, that they will return the winner. I said he, but I think they're non-binary, so I apologize for saying he. They are returning the winner's trophy because Israel is being allowed to compete in political troubled music competition. In Instagram video, Nemo held the microphone-shaped glass ornament and said, "Today, I no longer feel like this trophy belongs on my shelf." Eurovision says it stands for unity, for inclusion, and dignity for all people, Nemo said, adding that Israel's participation, given its conduct of the war against Hamas in Gaza, shows that ideals are at odds with the organizer's decision. The non-binary singer won the contest in May of 24 with pop operatic song The Code. 5 countries, Spain, the Netherlands, Ireland, Slovenia, and Iceland, have announced they will boycott the event run by the European Broadcasting Union as they declined to expel Israel. When entire countries withdraw, it should be clear that something is deeply wrong, Nemo said. Before placing the trophy in a box, they said would be sent to Geneva, headquarters of the EBU, which runs Eurovision. Next year's Eurovision is scheduled to take place in Vienna in May, after Austrian singer JJ won the 25 contest in Basel, Switzerland. By Eurovision tradition, the winning country hosts the following year. The walkouts cast a cloud over the future of what's meant to be a feel-good cultural party marked by friendly rivalry. The contest, which turns 70, strives to put... We already said this. Russia was expelled in 2022 after its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and Belarus was kicked out for having a dictator. It has been ruled by war in the Gaza for past 2 years, sparking protests and forcing organizers to clamp down on political flag waving. Like literal flag waving. Opponents of Israel participation cite the war in Gaza, which saw more than 70,000 Palestinians killed, according to territory Hamas-run health ministry. Israel's government has repeatedly defended its military campaign as a response to an attack led by militants on October 7, 23, which saw almost 1,200 people, mostly civilians, killed and 251 others taken hostage. A number of experts, including those commissioned by a UN body, have said that Israel's offense in Gaza amounts to genocide and claims Israel has vigorously denied. Because why would anyone admit to be doing a genocide? But either way, that's the drama, that's the update. Another person saying, somebody who won, saying, I don't identify with this competition anymore. They honestly should have been kicked out 2 years ago. But the thing is, right? Ukraine.
Russia's doping in
this is
Eurovision.
Diplomacy, right? This is the field of diplomacy. Ukraine. What did Ukraine do? They defended themselves for 3 years against Russia, and only after everyone in Europe and even the U.S. right agreed. Okay, Russia is not gonna back down. Did they allow Ukraine to actually attack the person who attacked them? Right? This was diplomacy. Ukraine didn't want to piss off the globe, so they decided to only be defensive. Israel could have made that decision to only defend their borders, right?
Yeah, Israel,
and they would be in a more likable position because they wouldn't have been killing civilians en masse this whole time.
Well, Netanyahu let that happen anyway.
Yeah.
So
we know. I'm just saying, right? They are purposely putting themselves in a place that puts them in a bad light, and they continue to not get punishment for it. From my perspective. So.
Okay, do you have another story? Or
give me a mixed metaphor, I believe is what you're supposed to give me. I do have another story.
Okay, mixed metaphor! Oh, okay. Here's your mixed metaphor. It comes in the form of song lyrics. And as we ride on down the road, our shadows taller than our souls, there walks a lady we all know, who shines a white light and wants to show how everything still turns to gold. And if you listen very hard, that tune will come to you at last. We're all are one and one are all, yeah, to be a rock and not to roll. And that's what that means, to be a rock and not to roll. Anyway.
Too much rolling.
In other words, stand your ground, folks. Be a rock. Don't roll for every pile of crap that comes around. Hey, there you go. Bunch of metaphors in there, and they're all mixed.
Yeah, and that's what these countries and Nemo are doing. They're standing the ground.
She's buying a stairway to heaven. I had to finish the song anyway.
Okay, our next story is about Fatboy Slim. Speaking of classic rock, the Rolling Stones have given their blessing for a sample that was from 25 years ago. This has been Beaumont Thomas on The Guardian. The mashup, Satisfaction Skank, was unofficial for years, but the band allowed Norman Cook to remake it using the original stems of their 1965 hit. A classic bootleg recording by Fatboy Slim, which samples the Rolling Stones' I Can't Get No Satisfaction, has finally been released as the band give it their blessing after 25 years. Satisfaction Skank was a familiar track on turn-of-the-century dance floors as Fatboy Slim mashed up his own 1999 hit, The Rockefeller Skank, with the Stones' 1965 classic, hurling Keith Richards' iconic guitar riff into the big beat sound of the late 90s. The track was much shared on Napster, which, let's not get into Napster drama, and other file sharing services, with bootleggers also pressing it into vinyl. Wow, people had their own vinyl lathes and were pressing it in. That's pretty cool. For use in nightclubs. But the track was never officially released, after numerous attempts to get the sample cleared were denied. I got a call from Mick Jagger and he said he'd heard it, and he liked the mix, Fatboy Slim, aka Norman Cook, told the BBC. But his management were just like, not even negotiable. We had a pretty flat no for 20 years. I think we asked 4 times. I wouldn't have dared to ask them again. But the Stones eventually relented, allowing Cook to build a track anew from the original master tracks from Satisfaction. The stems for the tracks were delivered to him in an armored van. It will be released with a music video directed by Tom Furse of goth band The Horrors, who used AI to enhance archive photos of the Stones. So it's not generated by AI, it just uses AI enhancement. The Stones' decision to approve the sample has echoes of how, in 2019, the band relinquished their rights regarding the Verve's Bittersweet Symphony. Yeah, that's the most famous Rolling Stone drama, right? The whole song was just like, thanks for the free money. It's a good song, too.
Alan Klein, the guy who ruined the Beatles, too, by the way. Alan Klein.
He wanted his 2 cents.
Yeah.
Not the Rolling Stones.
Big lawyer boy. Lawyer boy got involved. Yeah.
The song used 4 seconds of an orchestral version of the Stones song The Last Time for its central string motif, which the Stones publishing company disputed the use of, and after an out-of-court settlement, the song's royalties passed to Mick Jagger and Keith Richards as part of the shared songwriting credit. But after what Ashcroft called a kind of monogamous gesture from Mick and Keith, he was granted all future royalties to the song. The Rolling Stones have maintained a relatively low profile following the release of their comeback album Hackney Diamonds in 23 and a tour in 24, though guitarist Ronnie Wood said in May the band were still planning another album. Cook, who is 62, remains highly active, having just hosted an All Back to Minehead weekend festival featuring sets from artists, actor Simon Pegg, and planning 3 large outdoor concerts at Brighton Beach in July of 26. He will be recently published a book, It Ain't Over Till the Fat Boy Sings. So, they're still rocking, they're still rolling, and they're still getting no satisfaction.
Oh, nice. There's your little mixed metaphor. No?
My own mixed metaphor there.
Yeah. Yeah, you said Flatboy Slim and you said rockin'. Don't forget walking. Anyway. Christopher Walken. Can't get over it.
Terrible.
All right. Ready for your mixed metaphor?
Yeah, give me a mixed metaphor.
I will quote two Rolling Stones songs for this. As heads as tails, just call me Lucifer because I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. That's a name of a Rolling Stones song.
Easy when it's easy when there's a inanimate object inside of it.
Right. No, to be a rock and not to roll was a jab at the Rolling Stones, perhaps, right? They're Rolling Stones. We're just rocks, right? Anyway.
Okay, there's all my culture news. Let's get into our day in history.
Okay, let's spin her and we'll whip out the day.
I can't
wheel
get
time.
Now the song's going to be stuck in my head, and then we're going to get copyright striked.
You had limerick for 2. 1.
Mixed
you had
metaphor.
Song for 2.
Take me to
more mixed
history's pages.
All right, let's rip on through and get Saturday over with, and let's do it. Let's get it done. Oh, did I say Saturday? Whatever, man. It's Saturday somewhere.
What? It's on Saturday. I hope not. I shouldn't be here.
It's Saturday in Japan right now. 1821, this day in history. Gustave Flaubert, a leading figure in the realist school of French literature, was born. He was best known for his masterpiece, Madame Bovary. There you go. He wrote that book. There you go, Madame Bovary. I think I read that back in grade school or one of them deals. 1846 in New Grenada, now Colombia and Panama, because Colombia was broken up into 2 countries by United States capitalism. New Grenada signed the Bidlack Treaty with the United States, granting U.S. right-of-way across the Isthmus of Panama in exchange for guarantee of neutrality for the Isthmus and the sovereignty of New Grenada, which doesn't exist anymore because it's called Colombia and Panama. And the United States gave up the Panama Canal a few years ago. 1915, singer Frank Sinatra, who achieved, we know what Frank Sinatra is, was born this day in Hoboken, New Jersey. Happy birthday to Frank Sinatra. He'll be 110 today.
Fly me to
also
the
achieved,
moon. Or something.
Oh, yeah. I did it my...
Oh, yeah, that's his other famous one. He has tens of famous songs.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra, old Blue Eyes again. I was drafted into the army because people got pissed off. It makes no fucking sense, but hey, whatever. The United States just being weird.
Pick out the name.
Right. Yeah. What? Well, yeah, back during World War II, people said, "Why is Frank Sinatra in a draft?" He's blah blah blah. So the army just fucking drafted him out of spite, and then he didn't serve anyway. They gave him a 4F because of his he had some birth defect or something that he can't like back troubles or something. Didn't pass his physical, right? So all that bullshit for nothing. 1923, game show host Bob Barker, who is best known for hosting The Price is Right, was born in Darrington, Washington. It'd be 102. Come on down! Of course, he's been replaced by Drew Carey. 1936, Chinese nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek, who is the first leader of Taiwan, as we call it. They called it Formosa in those days. Anyway, was seized, on this day, 1936, was seized by one of his own generals, Chiang Kai-shek, Shai Liang, beginning the Jian incident. The Chinese love their exes. 1964, Kenya became the first republic on the first anniversary of its independence from Britain, which my favorite fake controversy was the Barack Obama 1960 birth certificate that said he was born in Kenya, even though Kenya wasn't even a place in 1960. And that's how you know the fascists are full of shit, because they just manufacture shit that can't fucking exist in reality. And people believed it. People still believe it. Well, here's this Kenya birth certificate. Kenya wasn't a thing when he was born, dude. It wasn't a thing. It was a frickin' territory of Britain. 1977, Saturday Night Fever starring John Travolta had its world premiere. The film was a huge hit, as was the accompanying disco soundtrack by the Bee Gees, amongst others. Saturday Night Fever, staying alive 48 years ago. 1999, American author Joseph Heller died at the age of 76. If you've seen the movie Catch-22, he's the one that wrote the book, Catch-22, one of the most significant works of protest literature to appear after World War II. Of course, Catch-22 is that whole paradox of, if you want out of the army for being crazy, if you want out of the army, that proves you're not crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm crazy, and I want out of the army. Well, that proves you're not crazy, so stay in the army. There you go. That was the Catch-22. 2000, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that 2000 this year, the Supreme Court stole the election from the people of Florida, who never got to count all of their ballots, and they just said, fuck this, we're not a real democracy, we're a banana republic, we just make up the rules as we go along, and we're going to stop counting the ballots, even though it's required by law. And the Supreme Court of Florida said, count the ballots. The Supreme Court instead, no, we're not taking these payoffs from big corporations for nothing here. What do you think? We're taking all these millions of dollars of corporations to be in the Supreme Court and pass actual, obey the Constitution? That's not what we're doing here. We're cashing in. We're cashing in. And then they gave the election of George W. Bush, who started 2 unnecessary wars, killed millions of people, and we haven't recovered since. So, and again, when the Republicans lose an election, they go to great lengths to fuck with everybody, as what was witnessed in 2021. So don't trust a Republican politician with anything. I wouldn't trust a Republican politician to water my plants. They are corrupt and dishonest. And believe me, most of the podcasts I follow, political podcasts, are former Republicans, right? This ain't a liberal thing. This is a Constitution thing. I don't want rich people deciding everything I do. Rich people are just rich. They're not smart. They're just rich. And the richer they get, and you've heard it a million times, there is no honest way to be a billionaire.
Also, the richer you get, the more dishonest you are, because, not even dishonest, but you're not on the same level as everyone else. You have none of the same worries, none of the same cares, right? You're not worrying about feeding yourself. You're rich.
And don't forget, these guys don't compare themselves to you. They compare themselves to their rich buddy. And if their golfing buddy is making $10 million more than them, even if $10 million is nothing to a billionaire, it pisses them off. Like, oh my God, that guy is getting over on me. No, he's not. He's getting over on society. Both of you are, right? You're all living on gravy. The times of gravy, you got to stop. All that gravy is in the hands of a few people. We have plenty of gravy in America, and here we are with our dry-ass biscuits. I wish I had some gravy with this biscuit. And all the rich people get all the gravy. They're not sharing it. We have no gravy. We can't even make the gravy. Anyway, that's my metaphor. Anyway, hopefully you can use that in the metaphor. 2009, with the victory of the Democratic politician Anise Parker, Houston became then the largest city in the United States to elect the openly gay mayor. Houston, Texas, being more progressive than the rest of the country. Imagine that. 2015, a landmark climate change agreement was reached in the UN conference in Paris. 195 countries agreed to limit greenhouse gases. The accord collectively replaced the Kyoto Protocol. And of course, Dick Breath Donnie dropped out of it as soon as he got in charge because he's working for Russia. 2020, English writer John le Carre died at the age of 89. He was best known for suspenseful realistic spy novels. Featured event 1925, 100 years ago, is the anniversary of the first motel. What's a motel? A motel is like a hotel, except the door opens to the outside. That's the only difference. You can walk out the front door. You don't have to go to a lobby. You can go directly to your car. That's what a motel is. The first motel opened in 1925, located in San Luis Obispo, which is way on the West Coast. Millstone Motel gave motorists a place to stop as they drove between San Francisco and Los Angeles. San Luis Obispo is about 100 miles from San Francisco, and it's about 700 or 800 miles from Los Angeles. So that's one stop. The rest of the time you're camping, I guess. Or you just drive straight through if your car can take it in 1925. I don't know what gas mileage was in 1925. It couldn't have been great. Our feature biography is Edvard Munch, M-U-C-H, Norwegian artist, the guy who made the Scream guy. He was born December 12th in 1863. He died in January 1944 at the age of 80. Born in Loten, Norway, died in Oslo. Other birthdays today, Edward G. Robinson, American actor, born in 1893. He's the guy that said, "We're going to do it like this, see? Yeah, we're going to do it like this." He had that old gangster. You know, have you ever seen a gangster movie? It's usually Edward G. Robinson. He's got a Tommy gun. He's like, "Yeah, this is how it's going to go down, see?" Yeah, that guy. We already covered Frank Sinatra during 110, Bob Barker during 102, Portia Simpson Miller, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, turning 80 today, born in 1945. Rajin Kanth, Indian actor. Rajin Kanth, if you're from India, you probably know how to pronounce it. He's turning 75. He was born in 1950. National Day calendar. It's National Ding-a-ling Day. That's about calling people you haven't talked to in years. So if you have somebody you haven't talked to in years, you still got their phone number, and they still like you. I know that's a extreme possibility they don't want to hear from you, but yeah. Let's give them a call. And it's National Salesperson Day. Maybe combine the call with a sales call. That way you can say you're doing your job, right? If you're a salesperson, right? National Ambrosia Day is that really sticky, gooey, sweet concoction that's going to give you a hyperglycemia.
And enrich me the nectar of the gods.
Well, the nectar is the nectar of the gods, but yeah. National Poinsettia Day. It's the red flowers that show up around Christmas time. Everybody loves it. And it's Gingerbread House Day. So that's everything today for we had limericks, we had songs, we had everything. We had lots of puns. Not puns, I mean metaphors. And we're about to have some more for December 12th, 2025 on Before Ambrosia.
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 Okay,
I'm going to try to work that into one of my
writing my final
Scrabble games.
metaphor. I have 3 mixed metaphors for you. Our first one.
Right.
The world is like swimming against the gravy.
Swimming against the gravy is tough, right? You just hail. First of all, you want to eat it.
Let's not talk about the Great Molasses Massacre. Closing the chapter. Sinatra was closing the chapter by putting a round circle in the square sky.
There you go, man.
The moon is always the end of the day. And finally,
unless you're Dean Martin. Dean Martin, the moon hits you out like a big pizza pie. All right, Dan, sorry.
And reach divine providence by spilling that ambrosia all over the table.
Ho ho!
And hello, Desi. Happy Friday, and thank you for stopping by.
Happy Friday! Right on. Now we're ready for the end.
Okay, we're ready to go. Let me look at my final international days. Today is International Day of Neutrality. My favorite thing to do is to not choose a side because both of them are bad. And then you end up being with both bad choices. Wow. Neutrality is defined as the legal status arising from the abstination of a state from all participation in war between other states.
Also,
like Switzerland.
Also performed by cowards.
Or
like
Sweden. Both countries who made a lot of money off the Nazis, oddly enough.
That's right. Cowardly. That's actually cowardly, right?
Yeah.
I can't take a stand against genocide.
In some case, you can use neutrality in order to mediate between two parties. By not taking a side, you can help them mediate.
Not meditate.
You can help them. You can help them reach a consensus through mediation and create peace. So that's the positive part of neutrality. It's not all negative. Then we've got International Universal Health Coverage Day. That's right. That thing supposedly all modern countries have, unless you're not rich, and then you don't have any because Obamacare. Wait a minute, that's named after that black president guy. I don't like it anymore.
Not even named after him. They just threw it out there.
So let's celebrate all the United Nations striving towards making sure every country in the world can have some universal health care and affordable.
The richest country in the world, country in the world, the United States, nobody can afford to go to the doctor unless you're rich. So
Nobody. And finally, on Sunday, it will be International Day Against Colonialism in all its forms and manifestations. Just to make it clear, not just all of the different colonialisms, including cultural colonialism, geographical colonialism, of course. There's many different ways that colonialism comes in and says, hey, you're not allowed to be that way, and we're also going to make you second-class citizens and all sorts of things. So 6 years after the adoption of Resolution 1514, colonialism in its various forms continues to exist, undermining the principles of the UN Charter with an impact on social, cultural, and economic development. I would argue that what's happening to Ukraine is a form of colonialism. They want to make Ukraine a colony of Russia.
It's never going to work.
You're all Russian now.
Never going to work. We know this already. It's futility. It's just a shame that Russia. It's a shame that Russia hasn't learned anything from Afghanistan at all. But whatever.
It was the same guy too. He was there, so you can't say Putin.
Well, he was there, but
yeah,
he was there. But Yuri Andropov, I believe, was in the head of the Soviet Union. Putin was just a Soviet KGB guy. He was probably on the ground torturing people.
Yeah, probably. That's our show for today. We've got all of our... Yeah, we've already done the outro, really. So this has been Allison here from the Netherlands. Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as we finish off another week. Only 2 more weeks left in the year. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Mucking Fun Day to tell you all the news you missed over the weekend. And please do not pay attention to the news. Just have a nice, blissfully innocent time where you're just having a... You know, you don't have to doom scroll every day. You don't have to doom scroll every day. So this is us giving you permission to not doom scroll tomorrow or Sunday. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch or subscribe to us on YouTube because we need subscribers on YouTube so that YouTube knows that there's people out there who care about our show. So if you care, please subscribe. Yeah, YouTube. You can support us on Patreon as well.
I'm tired of falling behind AI, which does nothing. Yeah. AI is just
real people making real stories here.
Right.
Real stuff that's happening, not fake stuff that's happening. This stuff is really happening out there. So, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend and Friday. And here is our mic drop moment. The only creature known to hunt human beings. Because they're hungry.
And here's your photographer who's getting all these great pictures.
It ignores the seal's breathing hole and heads straight for me.
But he basically has to live in a bite-proof, damage-proof, solid steel cage.
Yeah, this guy's just a nature photographer doing his job, right? He probably enjoys his job, but
it's very cool. I wish I could be a nature photographer.
That thing is gonna eat me. I'm a meal. I'm a meal.
It's like, do you smell that? Do you smell its sweat?
Yeah.
That meaty flesh in there. I'm hungry.
Pretty soon the bear that smells like food. There's nothing here to eat, and that looks like something to eat, and I'm hungry.
And unlike grizzly bears, you can't just make a loud noise and they run away. They're hungry. They don't care how loud you are.
He's like, okay, make sure everything works. Locked
Make
up.
sure it's tightened. Get the wrench out.
Trying from all angles.
Being this close, get an appreciation
But
for what
the fact that
this
there's somebody filming this means there's someone far away, also not in a cage.
on the planet.
No, it's a tripod.
Intimidating
Oh, he just let the
tripod.
tripod out. No, there's a boat.
Yeah, he's
Somebody's
by
on a
himself.
boat
He's
filming.
completely by himself. He's completely by himself.
No, there's a boat behind him. You can see a
The
boat
bear's
behind
nose
him.
has
There's somebody
led it
crewing
to
the
a
boat.
gap.
What boat?
You can sniff me, gosh, I can
Oh, that might be his boat. You know,
There's
it's
a-
not his boat.
No, it was a proper icebreaker ship. There's no way he's on one boat by himself. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
actually.
he has a place where he has a place where he can go back home, but he's there by himself.
Flexing.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can.
If there was a
person who's
person
filming him is
outside,
definitely
that
on the
bear
boat.
would be eating them right now. If there was a person outside, the bear would be eating them right now.
No, he's on a boat.
I just-
That's what I'm trying to say.
All his wings.
No, he's on an iceberg.
No, I know he's not on the boat. There's a boat behind him. You can see it in some of the shots. I'm just trying to explain that's where it's filming from. That's where we're getting that like far away shot from the
Not
boat.
sure if I like that.
Are you sure it's not just from a tripod?
Nah, it's way too far away.
You can adjust.
Look at this. Look at that big mouth. Your head could fit in that. Crack it like a melon.
Her best bet would be to get her full weight on top of it, just like she does when she's.
The worst thing about this is wasting a bunch of energy that to try to get into a thing you'll never get into, right?
But he drilled a hole so they can go hunting for seals, right? Or, you know?
It would be about 7 feet tall.
But the bear just doesn't know. The bear thinks it will get some really great food, right?
Oh, I'm on the bear's side for sure here. I mean, I'm on the photographer's side too, but I definitely understand it. Yeah. This isn't like the bear's got, hey, let's go to the 7-Eleven and get some food. No, you gotta eat.
This is, I
He
think this
died.
is the bear deciding, oh, okay, I'm wasting my energy here. I need to actually go get
He's
something
not
I can eat. Yeah, see, there's a
He's
boat
not exactly
right there.
packing away. Not a lot of weight
Once it
there either.
realizes it's too difficult to get
bear
in,
is very
the polar bear
hungry.
moves off.
Like, I guess I'm leaving. Goodbye. See, the fact that there's panning and it's zoomed in, I know there's somebody actually having a camera. It's not just on a tripod. Somebody has to be controlling the
Remote
camera.
control. Remote control. There's remote controls, man.
I think it's more
Just
likely
saying.
there's just somebody on the boat. It's somebody on a jet ski.
Okay.
even. Somebody on a jet ski.
Okay.
Gonna want to do again.
How do you know that's not his jet ski?
Definitely not.
Because it moved. I think it's okay that there's other people with him. I don't know why you're denying that he's by himself completely.
Have a
He's
nice
not.
weekend. I gotta use the bathroom. All right. Have a nice weekend.
Wait, we're not.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.